Hello everyone, and welcome to the Arthur Murray Lifestyle Series. I'm Victoria Regan, the Global Ambassador for Arthur Murray International. Not many people can talk about their Arthur Murray lifestyle journey that began 64 years ago. In this episode, our honorees are Lillian and Michael Powers, here to share their experience as it was then and now. Needless to say, dancing and being an Arthur Murray franchisee brings health, happiness, and longevity.
Thank you, Victoria. We're thrilled to share our story on this lifestyle series. It actually began in 1955. Lino started in Erie with Harry Spearin. And in 1957, he moved to Yonkers to open his own studio. Incidentally, that studio was built by Ira Murray, Arthur's brother. And incidentally, I just came across a Western Union telegram. And for those people who don't know what Western Union telegram was, it's kind of like a text on paper now. But it was from Arthur and Catherine wishing Lino and I, success with our medal ball that they couldn't attend, but they wanted to support us for it. I started in 1960 and I needed to buy a car, so I wanted a part-time job. Lino interviewed me, and long story short, we got married in 1964. Together we opened Danbury in 1979, and John Almeida was our manager at that time. We bought White Plains in 1982, and Fairfield around the same time from Ed Verano. And then Lino was the regional director for about 10 years. It's been an incredible journey, and lifestyle, as you said, has brought me health, happiness, and 80 years of longevity.
Well, thankfully, hopefully I can do the same as she did, the whole 80 years. My story started, I was 4 years old when I first started dancing. I was dancing with the late Marie Fantini, as many of you know, who did all the scrutineering, all the different dance-oramas. I danced with her from 4 to 8. And then later on, that time, it wasn't that popular for guys to dance. So I got, little razz from everyone and started the Pop Warner football and Little League. And that's where I realized I was not good, and I warmed the bench very, very well. So I kind of went right to work, had a deli and catering business at the age of 19. And then that kind of went. And then I saw my father one morning. I heard the lawnmower in the background and realized he was no longer cutting the lawns. So then I started a landscaping business right away. And one day my father said, hey, Michael, I need you to do me a favor. And we all in business know what that means. He said, just go help your mom a little bit, just part-time at night. And I was solely against it, didn't want anything to do with the business. And once I got in, I just realized that I loved it. And I love that I was able to help people and have fun and also, finally learn how to dance the right way. That was in August of 96. Within 1 year, I asked my mom not to come back to the studio. She remembers that. And then she just did payroll. And then 2003, purchased the studio from my parents. And I went on to open up other locations in Greenwich, had the leased territory in Mount Kisco. And right now we just moved one of the Yonkers location, where I learned, which was there since 1975. We just moved to a new location in Eastchester, New York.
You have had a long and wonderful Arthur Murray lifestyle. Summarize what that has meant to you. Lillian, you first.
Wow. Well, it changed my whole life, and it gave Lino and me the opportunity to prosper. We both quickly realized that it wasn't just about the money. That in fact, as the cliche as it says, dancing with Arthur Murray does change lives. It saves a lot of people's lives too. It gives them a whole new outlook on life. Also, personally, I couldn't imagine myself getting up when I first, started to get up in front and speak to people. And I remember having to do that at one of the franchisee conventions. And it also gave me the confidence to understand that I could become become something and accomplish anything I wanted. I could not imagine myself doing anything else.
And for me, the Arthur Murray lifestyle, it's basically given me everything I ever wanted and more. It taught me that anything is achievable if I just go after it, and I can get it. If I never learned how to dance, I would have never met my beautiful wife and have my 3 amazing kids that I have. What I love about the company is the support. COVID taught us that we all had each other's backs during that. And, I helped others helped me, and it was just a great time to know that we have that family network. One of my biggest joys is developing people and bringing them to places they never thought they can go, and sharing that opportunity that I have with them. That's something I really, truly, truly love about the business, that you can start from being a student going on to being a franchisee, which I think is amazing, because not many other companies can do that. I just really can't imagine my life without Arthur Murray.
Lillian, we said in the opening that you would talk about the differences then, and please include recruiting and training of staff as you remember it. And Michael, the differences you experience now.
Well, way back then, we didn't have internet or any of the things that you can use today. So how we got our staff, we went to the nightclubs. And at that time, hustle was very popular. So we would go just about every single night at the end of the day to go to the clubs and look for, teachers or people who would want to train. And that's how we, got them to come into the studio if they were interested. And the training back then was old stuff, the training was free. They checked out in their 10 dances and then they were on the floor teaching. Lino did most of the training until Michael got involved, and then he took over everything.
Recruiting, I went through that process. I had to learn my 10 dances first before, back then it was man and women's parts. Now it's leader and followers parts, before you could get on the floor. And it's definitely different now. Luckily, our last 2 hires were actually, they had contacted us, which was great, without any advertising. It's always looking for someone that might fit the criteria. If we're out somewhere, I'll ask them if they ever thought about a career in dance, if they dance. Trying to hire right now is more important than just hiring. That's really important for us. And the big difference for that, one of the main reasons is now minimum wages. It's a lot different. Now it's $600 in New York. So they're coming in, and we want to make sure we have the right fit before we put any time or money into someone. And we start training them right away on everything, not just dancing, business skills right away, people skills right away, because we need to make sure that they can actually have a return on investment as soon as possible. Very, very important right now. And we also do, full-time. We're a full-time studio, so we believe in full-time staff, and that has worked well for us. One of the other things is team and culture. Night and day. Before it was about who could be the best teacher, who could teach the most lessons, and now it's really about the school, how the school can teach the most lessons. And one of the things that we put in a couple of years back is we hire as a team and we fire as a team. And what that has done is made sure pretty much kind of got most of the gossip gone, I believe. Before there was a lot of talk in the back room. And now that you know that one of your peers is going to be responsible for hiring you when you do your 3-day trial, your peers can be responsible for letting you go. And that's made a big difference in our team. And I really, really love it.
Are there any additional programs and or concepts that you have implemented that have helped staff and studio growth?
Ones that really worked well for us, especially before the pandemic, was I listened to a lot of podcasts, and one of the podcasts was one of those light bulb moments for me. And I forget who the guy was, I wish I could remember, but he said, you need to incentivize the behaviors you want to have happen. And I think all of us here know that if a student takes the first 4 lessons in 2 weeks, they're likely to finally achieve the goal of learning how to dance. where the other students who want to space it out, they just never get there. They never actually get there. So we incentivize that by, if they take their first 4 lessons within the first 2 weeks and 2 group classes and a party, that they would get a $200 incentive credit towards their next program. And one of the other ones we added was guest programs. I find that a lot of times we have long-term students and they've kind of been through their friend pool. They can no longer bring new guests, and new students are a little uneasy. They're not sure if it's right for their friend. So what we ask our staff to do is, anytime we have any brand new student come in, we initiated a buy one, give one program. So as soon as they make their appointment, now we give them a gift to give to someone else to pay it forward. That has been working well for us as well. We also have, in the past year, since 2009, done a Dance with the Stars event. And we've partnered up with Hillside Food Outreach, which is a company that helps elderly and the needy with food. And we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars with them in the past years. It's a great charity for us. And I believe we have about 6 students that are still with us through all those different charity events. So it's a win-win for everyone. It's definitely helped the studio, and it also, helps people eat, which is very important.
I always love hearing about one's style of leadership and operating a studio. What about yours?
Okay, well, way back then, style and leadership of operating a studio is so different. Back then, everything was, Lino micromanaged everything. We didn't delegate. We worked 6 days a week from 1 to 10 p.m. So things have definitely changed, but I'm sure Michael can bring you up to date on what's being done now.
It was definitely different. It was 1 to 10 and then 9 to 6 on Saturdays. And we guys growing up in the family business, and we had 2 vacations a year, and that was Christmas week and one more in July, and that was a studio cruise. So that wasn't even really a family vacation. That was a working vacation. When I got into the business, and I was working the 6 days a week, and then my son was born, and I wanted to have more time. And so we went down to 5 days, and we still taught the same amount of lessons. So that was great. But then I had to learn the art of delegation, because if you cannot replace yourself, then you can't grow. If you don't replace yourself, you don't grow others. And again, before, that was one of my major joys, is bringing other people up. I've read in a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was a couple different ways of whether you're self-employed or you're a business owner. And the main difference was how you knew is that if you left your business for 30 days and it was still there and it grew, you own a business. But if you left your business for 30 days and you came back and it was a shambles, you're self-employed. Both are great, just 2 different paths. And I definitely want to be on the business owner side. And I would think 3 main things to having a successful studio would be: 1, again, learning how to delegate. 2, develop good people and good managers. I've had my manager now for 13 years. Jolene, she's my right-hand girl, and we're developing another person right now, Moises. He's doing great. And again, use what this company has to offer you, which is an amazing support system from all different people. They're all a phone call away. And Victoria, one very exciting thing for us that's alien to most people, that I would really think helps with growth, is debt-free, paying everything in cash. The studio is debt-free. Personally, I'm debt-free outside of my mortgage for the house. And we teach that to the staff. And it's just different. It's just a different idea. And it's all from Dave Ramsey, who I've been listening to for about 5 years. The pandemic really made me kick it in 2 years ago. And it's made a big difference for me, and a difference for the staff as well. If they're teaching 25 to 30 lessons a week, they can make a great living. And when they don't have to pay debt and they don't have to pay interest, that living even gets better.
Most franchisees and dancers are relaxing and retired by the age of 80. Lillian, are you anywhere close to that? And Michael, what about your plans for the future?
Well, Victoria, I'm not ready to hang up my dancing shoes. Frankly, I wish I could do more, but right now I do have a little tendonitis on my ankle. But I still go into the studio, I teach, and I will be scrutineering at Las Vegas. And so I am still active, and dancing keeps me going.
And Victoria, for me, we have the two schools now. Definitely looking to open up to another one in the next few years, developing people for that. Again, that's my constant mantra. And wherever the situation arises, I'll definitely be willing to open more. I still teach. I was just teaching this morning. Keep my feet wet, and I teach about probably maybe 6 hours a week. I don't think I could ever stop dancing. I always have dancing in my life. I always have Arthur Murray's in my life.
Thank you, Lillian, and of course to Lino for contributing a lifetime to Arthur Murray's, and Michael for you continuing the tradition and for being a perfect example of an Arthur Murray business owner. I look forward to seeing you both at our next extravagant event.
Thank you, Victoria, and thank you to the leadership of Arthur Murray International.
Yes.
See you on the dance floor.
Thank you as well. Thank you, Arthur Murray International, and big thank you to all the AMI family and support. We'll see you all soon.
And to all of you watching, thank you for supporting the Lifestyle Series. And remember, for health, happiness, and longevity, keep on dancing.